What's up?
What? You couldn't think of something?
No.
Oh, whatever. What up, Bob the Builder?
I built a fence with my dad all weekend.
Do you realize that you and your father have built more and more high quality of a wall than Trump ever did?
Oh, dang. So shade. Yeah, we built a privacy fence because my other one fell down this winter. It was here when I got this house, so I didn't make that one, and it rotted and fell down in the winter, and it was laying on my neighbor's garage. My dad built it with me. We sunk the poles with cement and did all the things, and we made a new gate for the driveway, but he's the best. Not only did he help me build the fence, he paid for all of it.
What? Santa Claus in July.
Literally crazy. I've been saving for this. I've been putting money aside, like squirreling it away here. And then because I knew it was going to be expensive in the labor and everything. So I was like, even the amount I had squirreled away, I'm like, that's not going to be enough. And then out of nowhere, he's like, well, I want to pay for it. I'm like, I know, I feel like there's some people who like, that's not a big deal, but that's like not how our family is. Like, we don't just that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like maybe little stuff, but over my lifetime, I'm not used to like crazy windfall, like things like that. Like we're not like rich or anything. So I was like,
I really feel like so in my family, I come from a generation, I guess, and it's still in my brain. Maybe it's just because I grew up when I did, but I will see something that I'll need and I'll be like, that's $150.
yeah.
And that's a lot of fucking money. And then I see like some people who are like, I just bought this for $2,000. And I'm like, what?
I know. So hot. I will tell you too that he's in better fucking shape than I am because I was struggling all weekend. Like the fence panels were really heavy and just everything we did was just like a lot of lifting and like moving shit around. And he golfs like all the time. So he's in really good shape. And I was just like dead. I'm like, this is embarrassing.
I think the men in your life have to be in good shape to put up with you. It was a joke. I'm very proud of you. When I first saw that fence, it was so old. It looked like, I can't even explain to people. It was wood. It wasn't wood anymore. It had turned into like wet paper towel.
Yeah, it was like gray dustwood and it was like falling over. It looked haunted. If wood could be haunted, that's what it looked like. It was fucking disgusting. And the before and afters are just like, it looks so happy back there now.
Wood can be haunted.
Yeah, it can. I know.
Please see Realm of the Weird episode where people build a garage out of mental home wood.
Yeah, you can link that under the podcast if you want to.
Meh.
But yeah, it was funny because we kept like disagreeing. Like funny though, like because a lot of it's like measuring and leveling and stuff. And like yesterday when we were finishing up, he's like, "You're a terrible foreman." I was like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, everything's perfect and everything that I've like spoken up about in this job, I was 100% right about. It was funny. He wasn't serious, but when he called me a foreman, I'm like, that's funny.
Did it get done on time?
Yeah.
Did it get done on budget?
Yeah.
Did anyone get hurt?
My dad did smash his thumb with a hammer.
You're a terrible foreman then.
Whatever. That wasn't my fault. And when he smashed his thumb, I told him the thing that he was doing. I told him we should just cut the thing off, and he didn't. And he smashed his thumb, and I was like, you should have just listened to me. But anyway, came out really great, and I'm proud of us. And it's done.
Good job, buddy. And Toad got his toad hole to stick his little head through.
Oh, I know. I have a gate. And because the gate was old before, a piece had like rotted off and Toad would put his little head out and look at whoever walks past the house. And I'm like, well, I can't put up a new gate and not have a toad hole. So we're like, literally, it's not even done yet. And we're like, gonna hang it. And I'm like, Dad, we have to cut the toad hole. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, he has to put his head, he has to see, he can't just be blocked back here and not see anything. So like who spent like a beautiful, expensive new fence? And I'm like, just instantly ruin it, cut a hole in it. And that's another reason why my dad is so cute. He's so supportive about everything and never argues. He's like, if that's the way you want it, that's the way you want it. Not for 1 second was he like, well, maybe you should think about this. It's brand new. Maybe you shouldn't. Like, nope. He was just like, okay, where do you want it? Like, my dad's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute. That's support. That's cute.
Could the universe have poured like a teaspoon of your dad into my dad?
I know, right? Seriously.
Seriously.
My dad's influence because my dad is just a wonderful angel. Yeah, we'll see. And he's like coming back this weekend to do other shit. He's crazy. And in the middle of that weekend of all that shit of us building and stuff, like we had to let the cement set for like 48 hours. But like in the middle of that, he like went to work and he fucking went golfing. I'm like, Dad, I was like crippled.
Meanwhile, I took a nap thinking about all the stuff your dad was doing.
I know. I don't know how. I don't know fucking how. He's crazy. But so yeah, that's the project for this last weekend. And then another project this weekend that I'm probably gonna make you help us.
Oh, no.
We'll talk about that after it happens.
Okay, fine.
Do you want to know what I listen? Right before I was on here, I was on Twitter like I always am, and our governor Whitmer tweeted something, and I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about, so I googled it. Do you? Okay, so for those who don't know, Michigan has like two parts. Obviously, there's the Upper Peninsula and a Lower Peninsula. We call the Upper Peninsula people Yoopers, but I didn't know we were trolls.
Yeah, because we live under the bridge.
I didn't know that. They call us. Listen, there's a bridge at the top that connects Michigan and the Upper Peninsula and the Lower Peninsula. And Whitmer was tweeting something about how everybody in Michigan matters and everybody needs to come together and blah blah blah. And she's like, and these kind of people and these kind of people and Yoopers and trolls. I'm like, who are trolls? And then I googled. I'm like, what are Michigan trolls? And it said everybody below the bridge is a troll. And I'm like, oh, rude.
I cannot believe you didn't know that.
Did not, never, today years old. I never knew that. It's kind of cute, but it's kind of rude.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it, but
Speaking of Michigan, today on Twitter,
mhm.
there was a poll asked by some Department of State of Michigan or something like that about where does up north begin?
Yeah.
Because in Michigan, up north begins at different levels for people. There are some people who in like Detroit who think that up north is Lake Orion.
No, that's not up north.
And then there's people in Lake Orion who think that up north is like Bay City.
Yeah, I feel like up north is like past the middle. So like, what is that? Like Grayling?
No, Grayling's way north, more north. Bay City
Oh.
is where the thumb is where the thumb is at.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, like somewhere above Saginaw.
I've always told people it's where you can take the turn off on I-75 to go more north or in the other direction, which is around Bay City.
Okay.
You're over the Zilwaukee Bridge is pretty much up north.
Yeah.
But there's some people like my dad who lives in Alpena, very interesting for everybody who likes Michigan facts. Like people in Alpena up north is the UP because they're so far north in Michigan. So it just keeps going north. And then people in the UP say up north, they mean Canada.
Yeah.
So you can just keep going more and more north. But anyway, when I was a little kid growing up and would spend summers up north in Alpena, there used to be a band called the Yoopers that all of my dad's friends would listen to. And all of my dad's friends would call me a troll when I was a little kid.
Dang. I feel like Yooper is cute. Troll sounds rude.
I think Yooper sounds dumb, like a dumb person. And troll sounds fun and supernatural.
Shots fired at the Yoopers.
There you go.
Warzone.
Did you ever hear the band The Yoopers?
No, why? No.
The second week of deer camp's the greatest time of year. We drink, play cards, and shoot the bull, but never shoot no deer. The only time we leave the camp is when we go for beer. The second week of deer camp's the greatest time of year.
That doesn't even sound real, but I believe you. I hate it.
I hated it. And it was that era of cassette tapes. So they only had like one, and it would just be that side A, side B, side A, side B, all weekend long while they got drunk, and it got funnier and funnier to them. And I just, ugh.
No, that's like a fun house. Like some scary thing you'd stop at, like a weird little museum, and it would like play that as you went through a tunnel of like weird Michigan shit.
Yes. My dad always said that the cabin up north ceased to be a cabin when my mom made him put carpet in because it meant that him and his friends couldn't throw up on the floor when they got drunk anymore.
Good grief. I like how we talk about how my dad is amazing, and then you just talk about your dad and the shitty band and puking on the floor.
Yeah. And my uncle used to call our cabin the stabbin' cabin.
Disgusting.
And somewhere in my family's history archives, there's a VHS tape of my uncle with a dead deer, and he's doing terrible things to the deer with a sugar beet.
Gross. I don't like this. Gross. Yesterday we went to an advanced screening of The Boogeyman. A new movie comes out this Friday, June 2nd. It was directed by the writer and director of Host and Dashcam, and inspired by a Stephen King short story, and written or adapted by the guys who did Quiet Place 1 and 2. And stars Sophie Thatcher from Yellow Jackets and Chris Messina, who was in Sharp Objects, which I loved.
No spoilers. I have a question to ask you, and I have yet to look it up because I don't want to be wrong. I want to be right, and I want my memory to be correct and good, even though I know that this might be wrong.
What?
In the movie, again, no spoilers, The main lead character, female lead, goes on the internet and looks up ways to talk to ghosts. Is the YouTube video that she's looking at the psychic from the movie Host?
That's a good question.
I think it is.
I don't know. That would be a cute tie-in.
Because if you remember in the movie Host, they have candles and they get a psychic to try and host the Zoom event. I think the YouTube video she looks at online is the psychic from the movie Host.
That would be cute.
There you go. That's all I have to say. It was a good film. It wasn't great. I probably won't watch it again. It was very enjoyable. It could have been shorter. Everybody acted the hell out of it, but it wasn't for me.
I know. I'm like, just say it. I'll say it was for me. It was fine. It was it's not cinematic genius or anything. It's not reinventing the wheel, but I like how the guys who did A Quiet Place, Beck and Woods, they're really good at like having a thing. Like they like a prop or something weird that creates like how I was trying to equate it to how in A Quiet Place they made the girl deaf. So that when they go into that and they're showing it to you from her perspective, it gets so fucking scary because you can't hear anything. And then there was just little stuff that they did in this movie where I was like, oh, that's their like prop. That's their thing. And they were really well used.
Yes, one of them was a little illuminated moon globe.
Yeah, those like moon globes that you see online that look like the moon, that's like a ball and it glowed. So the main little girl in the movie would like carry it around. I have one of those, but I never use it because the battery, you like charge it with a USB thing and it lasts like 5 fucking seconds. So
yeah, we've really dropped the ball on USB batteries, haven't we?
Uh-oh. What are you growling at? Dog's growling. But
he's mad about rechargeable batteries.
He is mad about batteries. But no, the movie was fine. The thing I'll say is I feel like going into it and from seeing the trailer, you would think it was more of a like your standard haunted house movie type of thing, like slow burn haunted thing. It's really not. It's more, I would call it more of a Quiet Place, whatever that is, whatever. It's not an action movie, but whatever that feeling is how the Boogeyman was. So
a horror thriller.
Yeah, like a thriller. Like don't go into it thinking it's going to be like a slow burn, quiet haunted house movie. It's definitely not. It's slightly more actiony, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
But they have trouble making good Stephen King films, don't they?
Yeah, I liked it though. I saw a lot of people on Twitter commenting that they were fucking terrified of the short story when they were little. I don't fucking know. I never read it, but they're like, we hope it's true to the short story. So I don't know if it is, but
I read the short story last night.
Do you think it's true to the story?
The ending is different.
Well, I don't know. I liked it. I will probably watch it again if it was just like on.
If it was on, I wouldn't turn it off, but I'm not going to seek it out.
Yeah, and everybody in it was really good. I like started binged there's this new doc on HBO Max that I flipped out about on Twitter last night. It's called The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. It's on HBO Max. I already said that. It's fucking crazy. It's, you know, the movie, The Orphan, like the horror movie Orphan 1 and 2.
Yes.
So it's essentially that, but it happened to these people in real life and they adopted a 6-year-old and it is not a 6-year-old. Dun, dun, dun. It's so fucking weird. And the main dad, this Michael Barnett guy, is so fucking dramatic. And he's the one like retelling the story. And he's just like bonkers. Like when somebody crazy is the one retelling an already crazy story, then just it's all fucking crazy. And they don't build up. They give it to you so straightforward in like the first 60 seconds of they do like a kind of snippet teaser of the doc and you're like your eyeballs are just bulged out of your head on the first 60 seconds. I'm like, this is going to be my new favorite doc that's ever happened. So anyway, so there's 4 parts on HBO that I watched already, and then I think they're airing it's 6 parts total. I think they're airing 5 and 6 tonight as one episode at 9:00. That's why I have to be off of here by 9.
Oh my god, really? That's why you have to be off at 9?
Yes.
Are you going to go back and listen to the 2-year-old episode of the Web Crawlers talking about this case?
I'm gonna have to. Well, because that was the thing as I was watching it, I'm like, did this story inspire Orphan, or did Orphan inspire this story? Or is it just a coincidence and they never fucking saw the movie? Because Orphan came out in 2009 and they adopted this little girl in 2010. So this isn't what inspired the movie. Like this person watching that movie be like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I have to do. This is my plan.
Aren't there a lot of movies with like people adopting someone and then it turns out that
I don't think.
no.
This is real weird though. Like just the ways that they start to find out, your like jaw is on the ground. I'm like, bro, what did they just say? What did he just say? What I think he just said? Like it's so awkward and scary. And then also they go into this part where they're like interviewing neighbors, and the neighbors were like legitimately scared. They're like, I didn't even want to come out of my house. I'm like, this person, this little girl is 3 feet tall. You're scared. You're scared. It's just very dramatic. Everybody in the thing is so fucking dramatic. It's so good. Anyway, it's called The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, and it doesn't just come up when you open HBO Max. You have to like search for it. So go in the search and search for it, and it's fucking bonkers.
Probably will not watch.
I mean, you don't have to, but I know people listening will instantly want to watch it because it's cray cray. We decided that I need to explain Patreon. I feel like you guys listening, there's some people who are Patreons already, and then there's some people who aren't. So we realized that we have never really explained it in depth what the fuck Patreon is.
We'll do it fast.
I'm gonna. So basically, Patreon is a thing that you can subscribe to. It's like if you enjoy our podcast, if you want to support our podcast, because quite honestly, not that that's what it's about, and we would do it forever anyway, but we don't make money off the podcast. We don't advertise. We purposely don't have recorded ads in this podcast. Just because you have a podcast on Apple doesn't mean you just instantly make money. There's nowhere to make money from. It's like it doesn't just come to you. So if you love our podcast, if you support our podcast, whatever, you know what I mean? Like you get 4 episodes of this for free on your little podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. So like if you want to support, if you're that's enjoyable for you, if you want to support us, you can join the Patreon, and that like supports the podcast. But then also in Patreon, you get videos that we make, like bonus videos, behind the scenes bonus videos. You get contests, you get
Jessica bothers you on your phone app.
yeah, you can. Yeah, our top tier Patreons get access to an app where like you can send me videos and I can send you videos back. Like me and Tenny will, you can personally like one-on-one send us videos and chat with us. And then we're gonna have like Patreon only hangouts. And then we've taken like Patreons to movie screenings before, like the one we just talked about. Because sometimes the screening people will say, yo, do you want to bring like 8 people with you? And I'll be like, yes. And those 8 people are only Patreons. So stuff like that you get access to. So if you want to join the Patreon, it's under every episode of the podcast in the little notes under our episodes. It's patreon.com/whatsupweirdo, and we would love to have you. And then yeah, you can message me in there. You get like priority message answering, all of that kind of stuff. You can ask us questions. A lot of the times if somebody asks us a good question in DM, I'll like bring it up on here. So or you can call the caller.
And we have episodes where you can call in, but everybody can call in. Do Patreons get priority access in the call in?
If they message me and tell me which one it is, yeah. Other than that, they're just all mixed together. But so yeah, that's the rundown on Patreon if you're wondering what it is. It's kind of like a fan club, if you will. And then in the little fan club, you get access to a bunch of other stuff, special perks, and
it's like a friend club.
it is a friend club, literally. It's like, what's up, weirdo friend club? And then also, just not unrelated, I wanted to say thank you to Michelle Clark, who sent us a huge box of wine from, I think you say it, Kiona Wines, and it's so good. I don't know if you drank any yet, but I've been hitting the Chardonnay the last couple of nights watching these screwed up documentaries, and it is delicious. Delicious. Oh, but I skipped a part. I forgot. We're gonna
Oh my
do.
goodness gracious.
No, I guess this isn't really related either, but we're gonna do another What's Up Weirdo and Friends live show
On YouTube.
Yes, on YouTube. That is free. It's gonna be June 18th at 6 p.m. And then so we'll do like 3 hours on the YouTubes for free. Then we'll take a little break because me and Tenny usually have to eat, and I have to let
Did you
her
say
go.
it was on the 18th of June?
No, the 16th.
You said 18th.
I did.
Yeah.
Whoopsie. I meant to say the 16th. Friday, June 16th with a 6. It's going to be at 6 p.m. And then we'll take a little break, and then we'll do a Patreon only after show. So if you're a Patreon, you can watch that. We put the link in the little clubhouse that we just talked about, and you can come on there. You can like come on the screen, talk to us, ask us questions, and only Patreons have access to that. So keep your calendar open June 16th.
And there'll be special guests, but we don't know who.
Yeah, there'll be special guests on there. We like to bring on people we think are interesting, or people who are doing cool shit, friends of ours, etc. We've had other really cool guests. I think there's 3 other live shows that are over on our YouTube page. What's Up Weirdo?
You know what's really crazy when you were talking about what Patreon is, and I was thinking about it? I know lots of creators and podcasts that have Patreons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I also was watching a YouTube video, which was like a sponsored YouTube video. And then I went to their podcast, which was not only was their podcast sponsored, their podcast is like hosted by a company, created by a company, and they had a Patreon. And I was like, this person is making fucking bank. They're getting paid for a company to do a podcast. Then they're getting paid by YouTube, like to do a video, and they have a Patreon. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, good for them or whatever, I guess, but
good for them for sure. But yeah, just thus far we've forgot. And that's not to say that we might we might someday get like one ad per episode or something, but we are very protective of the format.
I will never read ad copy on this podcast.
Well, I might.
I would not allow it. I edit it.
Not copy. Like, they have ones that are organic and you can say whatever the fuck you want.
I mean, we have sponsors and I'll sing about them and do stuff like that.
That's exactly what I mean.
But I'm not going to read ad copy.
No, I don't want to do that either.
I'm not going to be like, hey, Jessica, have you tried this new meal service?
No, we're not doing that. No, that's not what I meant. No. But obviously,
you have enough trouble reading, much less pretending to be interested in what you're reading. I am pretty mean to you this episode.
I know, I want to leave. But no, that's what I was trying to say is like, we're going out of our way to like not get money for things because we want the podcast to be how it is. That's
worst business people ever.
We are the worst business people. Well, I'm better than you.
You're better than I am, but I give everything away.
I know. But we can't do that. We have bills to pay.
I was even like looking at all the stuff in my garage and I'm like, you know what? I'm probably not going to have another garage sale this year. I'll probably never have another one. I should just put all this stuff out and put a big sign that says free and just give it away.
We're going to have one.
If we don't have one within the next few weeks, which we're not going to be able to do because our schedules are too busy.
Why are you yelling at me?
I'm just saying it's not going to happen. It'll be much easier for me to just take everything out of my garage on this Sunday, and put it out on a table and put up a sign that says free, take it, and let people have it.
Do whatever you want, but who's going to know it's there?
People that are walking their fucking dogs around my neighborhood 24/7.
Okay, well, we'll discuss this after and see if there's
maybe they want a DVD copy of Horror Express.
Yeah, we can make prize packs for the Patreon.
Only flat mailers from now on.
Only flat mailers. We spent fucking $8 million sending things to our Patreon. Okay, I just remembered another thing that I learned. This is unrelated to anything at all. And I don't think you're going to know because I didn't know, but that doesn't mean anything. Do you know in your car, you ever steal your steering wheel, right? The two arms on the side that you would like put your wipers on and you would signal with. Do you know what those are called?
No.
They're called stalks, like a corn stalk. They're called stalks. Who the fuck has ever heard that? Isn't that crazy? You go your whole life using a thing like cinnamon and stalks, steering wheel stalks. What the fuck? Why doesn't anybody tell us anything?
I mean, I assume things like that have names so that when they're being manufactured, like they can call them something.
Yeah, but then why? I don't know. I don't know how you'd ever find out. It's not like it's in, I don't know. Maybe if people read their manuals, which I don't.
I used to love reading my minivan's car manual.
I wish you still had a minivan.
I probably will soon.
Well, I want a van and you want a van.
Oh my God, I watched a YouTube video I'm going to have to show you. The cutest one-person minivan camper that they just made. Oh my God, you're going to love it.
It's probably fake.
No, it's not. You will love it. It's got the bathroom in it. It's got a little sink and a oven in it.
But it's a car or a bubble on its own. It's both.
No, it's like they took a bubble and added it to a minivan.
It's going to be fake.
No, it's the coolest thing you've ever seen.
I've been researching these for years. There was one that was a concept that like Toyota made and they were calling it like the taco truck or some shit and it was fake and I was pissed.
Nope, you're going to love it.
Okay, well, is it $60,000 fucking dollars?
I think it's like 120.
Yeah, great.
I'm just kidding. It's like $40,000.
Yeah, well,
you can remortgage your house and buy it.
Oh, can we? Is that what we're doing?
I'll remortgage my house and buy it for you.
Thanks. You're a good friend. That I will now forgive you for being mean to me this whole episode and for telling me about somebody shoving something up a deer's ass.
Hooray! I did it.
Anything spooky news? Anything in the anything in the Bigfoot UFO? Yeah, you're doing Bigfoot Collectors Club after recording with them after this, and you don't even include me in anything. Look, I didn't hang out with the Bigfoot lady all by myself for a whole day in Nebraska. Like I don't have shit to talk about. Okay.
Michael reached out to me like 2 days ago and said, we want you to come on for an hour and talk about Bigfoots and stuff like that. And I knew that you were probably going to be watching some important docuseries on television.
No.
So I said, yes, I will do it. So I'm going to talk about Bigfoots and dogmen and other creepy creatures.
Cool. Well, I'll reach out to them and do the show by myself.
Well, you can. I can't wait to hear it.
I just want to talk about Harriet all day. The cutest Bigfooter in America.
Why don't you marry her?
I will. I'll live in her Bigfoot museum with Toad. She loves Toad. Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot/Toad Museum.
Bigfoot Toad Museum. Yeah, he could get his own little area.
Yeah. How is it possible that this many flapper toys could be destroyed by one single dog? It must be Giant Toad.
He's been sitting in the sun so much for these hot days, and then he's just melted.
He's just hot meat.
Okay, but anyway, we didn't really talk about anything like besides me yelling at you about the podcast. What about this weekend UFO history, Bigfoot, ghosts, anything?
No, not really. On Twitter this week, I talked about how it was the anniversary of Joan of Arc's death. That's kind of supernaturally because, she heard voices from God and angels telling her what to do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where she started to get in trouble. She was like 13 and she heard, I think, Saint Michael, the angel, telling her to like liberate France. And she had a number of psychic encounters with angels and spirits who led her to become this like 17-year-old warrior, kick-ass fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And she took upon herself the mode of men's dress of the time. She cut her hair real short and would wear men's battle armor. Mm-hmm. And that's where the church was like, okay, we've had enough of her.
Good grief. Did she die young or did she die old? How did that work out?
Oh no, they burned her alive when she was 19.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Brutal.
And the main issue they had with her was blasphemy and heresy, including the wearing of men's clothes.
Boo.
So.
And oh, how far we've come.
And then 25 years later, the church said, oopsie, that was a mistake. Sorry, we shouldn't have done it.
They do that a lot.
That shit always, like, that's adding insult to injury.
Yeah.
Like, you burn a 19-year-old alive and then 25 years later, you're like, that's not going to look good. We should at least apologize for it. Too late, bitches.
Yeah, that don't mean anything.
No, I was going to say, I don't think there's any other supernatural stuff. Next week, I'm going to Balboa Winery.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to drink slushes and tell ghost stories and look for ghosties with everybody's.
Yeah. Speaking of Bible stuff, is Joan of Arc in the Bible? Is that not real?
No, it's just God and angels and stuff. No.
Well, I'm going to use it as a segue anyway. Josh Malerman tweeted the other day, wait, Adam had a wife before Eve? What? And also there's a dragon in the Bible? ? I didn't know Adam had a wife before Eve.
So like according to the Apocrypha, which is not the Bible, but the books around the Bible, there's a whole bunch of books that nobody talks about that were written around the same time or a little bit before or a little bit after that didn't make it into the cut. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Okay. Let me start off like this. There were lots of books that talked about God and what was going to happen and how the earth was formed and stuff. And then in like the 1300s, a group of men got together and they were like, okay, we can't have like 40,000 of these books. Let's just pick out the best ones and put them into a book. Mm-hmm. So in the 1300s, they picked out what we now call the Bible. Mm-hmm. And then there's a whole bunch that they didn't use for one reason or another. Mm. That's called the Apocrypha.
Weird. Got it.
In the Apocrypha, it talks about Adam's first wife, who was Lilith. And she's like she's portrayed throughout history as a demoness.
Nice.
And that was his first wife.
Demoness.
And then it doesn't work out, so God creates Eve.
Interesting.
And then there's a big dragon in the Bible at the very end.
Really?
Yeah, during Revelation, the huge 7-headed dragon rises out of the ocean with 7 crowns on its 7 heads and the whore of Babylon on its back and cracks the earth in half, and people would rather have their heads cut off but by that time it'll be too late and something.
Dang.
See, at the end of the world, here's the big thing. Here's where they get you with the apocalypse in the Bible. So like you see the earth falling apart, you see Satan like uncrack and unfurl and come out of the pit. You see the giant dragon come out of the ocean with the whore of Babylon on his back. And then you're like, oh shit, it was all real. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. Mm-hmm. Right? Too late. If you have to wait for that stuff to happen, then it's already too late for you to go to heaven. So you're still going to die anyway.
But I thought you could do it up until when you die and then you're fine.
Not when Revelation starts. Too late.
Oh, got it.
Because by that time, all of the good people will have been raptured away. You know what that means?
Not really.
So right before Armageddon starts, before Satan comes out of the pit, before the dragon and all that good stuff, everybody that's a good Christian will get sucked up into the sky by God so that they don't have to be there during the end of the world. Like your body just goes away. Boom. Like your clothes will be laying in a pile on the ground. Planes will be flying out of the air and smashing into the ground because if you're a pilot and you believe in God, he'd suck you right out of the plane. The plane's got no pilot and then it'll crash into the ground. But no one has to worry who believes in God because they'll all get sucked up at the same time. That's the rapture.
Can we have a rapture right now?
You gotta believe in Jeebus. Let him into your heart.
No, there's some people who could definitely be sucked up.
If anybody is listening and they want to invite Jesus into their heart, you can bow your head and you can ask Jesus to come into you right now.
Get out of here. You didn't mean any of that.
Bibles, well, that's what they tell people. Bible's got dragons. If the Apocrypha is crazy because that's when they were picking out the books to put in the Bible. They were like, what is the stuff we like? If you read the Bible now, it's got talking snakes and dragons in it. It's got all that talk about, men whose testicles are the size of donkeys, that type of stuff. It's got a woman turning into a pillar of salt and God wiping a whole city out with fire from the sky. And that's all of the stuff that they were like, these are the believable books.
They gotta leave this in. They gotta leave in giant donkey balls.
Yeah, we gotta leave this stuff in. It's important. And then all the other books have the crazy stuff in them.
Good grief. Good grief.
Like when Jesus was a little boy and would sit down by the river and make animals out of clay and sand by the water. And then he would clap his hands and they would all come to life. And he would have little horses and little cows playing with each other around the river. And then Mary, his mom, would come over and go, you can't make things come to life. And then he'd smash them out of existence.
I mean, this sounds like a power that me and you really need.
But the guys who put the Bible together were like, that sounds too crazy. He can't make animals, tiny little baby action figure animals out of sand.
Well, I don't know.
There's some of your Bible lesson for the day. I know that's kind of crazy stuff, but I'm trying to cover the whole Bible here.
I know. Eventually we will cover the entire Bible. Tenny will tell you the history and I will sit here and make fun of it. That's my job. But I have to go because the end of this documentary is coming on in 4 minutes.
Oh my God. I can't believe you're cutting off our show so you can watch a documentary that will be on forever.
A Curious Case of Natalia Grace.
It was already covered in web crawlers 2 years ago.
Okay, but not the updates. The case is still ongoing. The way the doc is right now, they're in 2022. So obviously that's not on web crawlers. So let me go.
Nope, I'm not gonna let you go. We gotta finish talking about stuff.
No, we're done.
No, we gotta finish talking about things.
Oh, tell me, okay, what are your notes? What do you have to talk about?
Okay, on my notes over here, I have that I'm feeling better about myself.
You need to stop. You have no notes. No fucking notes.
I have some notes. I'm not going to talk about. I was going to talk about my super secret surprise event with Amy Bruni.
That's not real.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
I'm out of here. I gotta watch Twisted Shit.
Okay, fine. Do whatever you got to do.
And I have to pee.
All right, fine.
Okay.
God loves you, Jessica. Let him into your heart.
Oh, never.
Let.
That was a very visceral reaction. I'm going to sin.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Oh my God, bye.